I didn't come to beg for my money back. I came to watch the truth print out, line by line. While my son swore on his own life he'd never signed a thing, I signed my life away over coffee and a smile. Amber had everything ready when I walked in. The kitchen smelled like vanilla creamer and cinnamon rolls, the kind Daniel used to beg for when he was 10. She hugged me at the door, said I looked tired, asked if I was sleeping okay. I told her I was fine, just needed to sign whatever it was Daniel mentioned on the phone. Something routine, something quick. "Oh, it's nothing complicated," she said, pouring coffee into my favorite mug, the one I'd left there months ago and forgot about. "Just a formality. You know how banks are." I didn't know. Richard had always handled the paperwork. But Richard was gone, and I was still learning how to be the person who signed things alone. She slid the papers across the counter, perfectly aligned, a pen already uncapped. Her smile was warm, practiced. I reached for the pen, and that's when I saw it. Transfer of ownership. I froze. My hand hovered over the signature line. "What does this mean?" I asked, pointing at the phrase, "Transfer of what?" Amber's laugh was light, dismissive. "Oh, sweetie, it's just legal language. You know how confusing these forms can be, especially for her." She paused, tilted her head. "Well, for women your age, it's really just about simplifying things so Daniel can help you manage everything." She placed her hand over mine, gently, too gently. "You trust him, don't you?" I did. Or I thought I did. But something in the way she pressed my hand down, guiding it toward the paper, made my stomach twist. I pulled back. I'd like to read it first, just to be sure. Her smile tightened. "Of course. Take your time." But she didn't move. She stood there, watching, while I tried to focus on the words swimming in front of me. Legal jargon clauses. Things I didn't understand. Things Richard would have explained. "Helen, honestly, if you don't feel comfortable, we can do this another day," she said, her tone suddenly cooler. "But Daniel mentioned you wanted to help with the house payments, and this really is the easiest way." I didn't remember saying that. I didn't remember agreeing to anything about the house. But I was tired, and I didn't want to seem difficult. So I signed. Amber's smile returned immediately, brighter than before. She took the papers, folded them neatly, and tucked them into a manila envelope. "They're all done. See, that wasn't so bad." I drove home feeling uneasy, like I'd missed something, like I'd been rushed through a door I didn't mean to open. That night, I stopped at Safeway to pick up groceries. When I swiped my card at the register, the machine beeped. Declined. I tried again. Same result. The cashier, a young girl with tired eyes, looked at me sympathetically. "Do you have another card?" I didn't. I paid in cash, the bills trembling in my hands, and left the store feeling smaller than I'd felt in years. At home, I checked my phone. A notification from Bank of America. "Your account has been temporarily restricted due to unusual activity. Please contact us immediately." My heart started to race. Unusual activity? I hadn't done anything unusual. I'd just signed a paper. A routine paper? I called the bank. The automated system told me to visit a branch. I hung up and sat in the dark, staring at my phone, wondering what I'd missed. The next morning, I went to the Bank of America on Elm Street. David Chun was working that day. He'd known Richard for 20 years, handled our mortgage, helped us refinance twice. He recognized me immediately. "Helen," he said warmly, "what can I do for you?" I explained the declined card, the notification. He pulled up my account, and his expression changed. "Okay," he said slowly, frowning at the screen. "There's been some activity here." "What kind of activity?" He didn't answer right away. Instead, he printed something and studied it, his frown deepening. Then he looked up at me, and there was something in his eyes I didn't like. Something careful. "Helen, did you recently sign a power of attorney?" My throat went dry. "A what?" "A power of attorney. It grants someone else authority over your accounts. I signed something yesterday. For my son. But it was just about the house. David's jaw tightened. He printed another page and slid it across the desk. This shows that Daniel has full access to your checking, savings, and investment accounts. As of yesterday afternoon, the room tilted. I stared at the paper, at the signature that was mine but somehow wasn't, at the words that made no sense. I didn't agree to that. David's voice was gentle. Helen, there's something else. He pulled up another screen, turned the monitor toward me. There's a second document here. A transfer request. For the title of your house. My house. The house Richard and I bought in 1982. The house where I raised Daniel. The house that was supposed to be mine. But that's not possible, I whispered. I didn't sign anything about the house. David pointed to a line on the screen. This signature here? It says it's yours. But it's also dated for a time when, according to our records, you were at a Medicare appointment across town. I couldn't breathe. And this signature? David said, his voice dropping, looks a lot like your son's. He let that sit between us, heavy and horrible. Helen, he said quietly, I think you need to talk to a lawyer. I drove home in silence, my hands gripping the wheel so tight my knuckles went white. When I pulled into my driveway, I saw Daniel's truck parked on the street. He was sitting on my porch, smiling, holding a bag from the bakery. Hey, Mom, he called out. Thought I'd bring you some lunch. I looked at him, my son, my only child, and I didn't recognize him at all. David didn't waste time. He printed the power of attorney document and slid it across his desk like evidence at a trial. This gives Daniel and Amber complete authority over everything, he said. Your checking account, your savings, your investment portfolio, even decisions about your property. I stared at the page. My signature was there, but the words around it were foreign. Durable, power of attorney. Immediate effect. No expiration date. I thought it was about helping with the house, I said, my voice barely steady. Helen, this isn't help. This is control. The room felt too small, too bright. I wanted to defend Daniel, to say there'd been a mistake, but the evidence was right there in black ink in legal terms I'd never agreed to. David leaned forward. I've seen this before. It's called elder financial abuse, and it's more common than people think. Elder, that word landed like a slap. I wasn't elderly. I was 68. I drove myself places. I paid my bills. I wasn't confused. Was I? What do I do? I asked. You need an attorney? Someone who specializes in this? He wrote a name on a post-it note. Laura Myers. She's helped other clients in similar situations. Good people who trusted the wrong person. I took the note, folded it carefully, and put it in my purse. My hands were shaking. There's something else, David said, pulling up another screen. This second document. It's a mortgage-related form. Signed digitally. In your name. Digitally. I don't even know how to sign things digitally. Exactly. He turned the monitor toward me. Someone accessed your email account 2 weeks ago and authenticated this signature through Ducosine. The IP address traces back to a device registered in your son's name. The air left my lungs. Why would he need my signature on his mortgage? David's silence was answer enough. I drove home on autopilot, barely remembering the turns. When I pulled into my driveway, I sat in the car for 10 minutes. Staring at my house. The house Richard and I scraped together money to buy. The house where Daniel took his first steps. The house that might not be mine anymore. Inside, I made tea I didn't drink and tried to think. My phone buzzed. Daniel? Hey, Mom, just checking in. You seemed off this morning. Everything okay? I stared at the message. Off, like I was the problem. I didn't reply. Another buzz. This time, a voicemail notification. I hit play. It was from yesterday, before I'd gone to Amber's house. Daniel's voice, muffled, like he'd pocket-dialed me. Just get her to sign it. She won't read the fine print. She never does. A woman's laugh. Amber, what if she asks questions? Then we say it's for her own good. She's been so stressed since Dad died. We're helping her. The recording cut off. I played it again and again. Each time, the words got sharper, meaner, more deliberate. She won't read the fine print. My hands trembled as I saved the voicemail, forwarded it to my email, and backed it up to the cloud. I wasn't stupid. I wasn't confused. I was being robbed. That evening, Daniel showed up unannounced. He let himself in with the spare key I'd given him years ago, carrying grocery bags like some kind of hero. Thought I'd stock your fridge? He said, smiling. You can't be driving around so much. Mom? It's not safe. Not safe. Another way of saying I was too old to handle my own life. I'm fine, Daniel. Are you? He started unpacking milk bread, things I didn't need. Because Amber mentioned you seemed confused yesterday. Said you couldn't understand a simple document. I understood it just fine. He paused, holding a box of cereal. Then why'd you call the bank? My blood went cold. How do you know I called the bank? David's a friend? Mom? He was worried about you. Said you were asking strange questions. That wasn't true. David wouldn't betray me like that. But the lie was so smooth, so practiced, that I almost believed it. I'm handling things, I said carefully. Are you sure? Because if you're feeling overwhelmed, Amber and I can take more off your plate. That's what the paperwork was for. To make things easier. He said it so gently, so reasonably, like he wasn't stealing from me. I need to think about it, I said. His smile tightened. Sure, take your time. But he didn't leave. He kept unpacking groceries, filling my fridge with food I didn't ask for, marking his territory in my kitchen like he owned the place. Maybe he thought he did. After he left, I sat at the kitchen table and pulled out the post-it note. Laura Myers. I dialed before I could talk myself out of it. The phone rang twice before a calm, professional voice answered. This is Laura Myers. Hi, my name is Helen. David Chun from Bank of America gave me your number. I think my son is stealing from me. Saying it out loud made it real. Tell me everything, Laura said. And for the first time in weeks, I did. Daniel showed up again the next morning. No call, no text. Just his key turning in my lock like he lived here. Morning, Mom, he said, carrying 2 reusable grocery bags. Figured I'd save you a trip to the store. I was still in my robe, coffee halfway to my lips. Daniel, I didn't ask you to. I know. But you shouldn't be driving around so much. Not at your age. There it was again. My age. Like 68 meant incompetent. He started unpacking organic milk, gluten-free bread, things I'd never bought in my life. He opened my fridge like it was his, rearranged shelves, tossed out leftovers I'd planned to eat. This chicken's expired, he said, holding up a container. See? This is what I'm talking about. You're not keeping track of things. I made that yesterday. He checked the date on his phone, shook his head. Mom, it's from last week. You're misremembering. Was I? No. I'd made chicken on Tuesday. I was sure of it. Wasn't I? He threw it away before I could argue. Listen, he said, closing the fridge. Amber and I were talking. We think it'd be good if we checked in more often, just to make sure you're okay. I'm fine. Are you? Because the bank called me? Said you were asking about documents you'd already signed. David was concerned. My stomach dropped. David said that. Yeah. He's worried you're getting confused about things. Financial stuff can be overwhelming, especially for someone who's never handled it alone. I wanted to scream that I wasn't confused, that I knew exactly what was happening, but something stopped me. Some instinct that told me to stay quiet, to watch. I'll be more careful, I said instead. Daniel smiled, kissed my forehead. That's all we want, for you to be safe. After he left, I stood in my kitchen and felt like a stranger in my own home. My phone buzzed. A FaceTime call from Amber. I almost didn't answer, but I did. Her face filled the screen, all concern and perfectly applied makeup. Helen, hi. Daniel told me he stopped by. How are you feeling? Fine. Are you sure? Because he mentioned you seemed a little off. And I know bank documents can be so confusing. All that legal language, even I have trouble with it sometimes. And she laughed lightly. Well, I'm a lot younger. There it was. The knife, wrapped in a compliment. I understand them just fine, I said. Of course you do, sweetie. I just meant that at a certain age, things can feel overwhelming. There's no shame in needing help. I ended the call. My hands were shaking. I poured more coffee, tried to steady myself, and that's when I heard it. A voice from outside. Mrs. Thompson, my neighbor. I opened the front door. She was watering her roses, waved when she saw me. Morning, Helen. You doing okay? Saw Daniel here pretty early. He was just dropping off groceries. That's nice of him. She paused, clippers in hand. You know, I saw him here a couple days ago too. He was messing with something by your front door. Near that camera thing you have. My blood went cold. My Ring camera. Yeah. Thought maybe he was fixing it for you. I mumbled a thank you and went back inside. Straight to my phone. I opened the Ring app. The last recording was from 3 days ago. Before that, nothing. A gap. Hours of missing footage from the exact time Daniel had been here. I scrolled through settings. Someone had logged in from a different device 2 days ago. Changed the motion detection settings. Deleted recordings. My chest tightened. I checked the activity log. Login from iPhone Daniel's World. That was his phone. The one he'd named after some joke from when he was 15. He'd been in my account. Watching me. Deleting evidence. I sat on the couch, staring at the screen, feeling the walls close in. This wasn't about helping me. This was about controlling me, watching me, making sure I didn't fight back. I thought about the voicemail, the documents, the deleted footage. I thought about David's face when he'd showed me that second signature. I pulled out the post-it note again. Laura Myers. I'd called her last night, told her everything. She'd listened, taken notes, and told me to come to her office the next day. Don't sign anything else, she'd said. Don't let them pressure you. And Helen, document everything. Every visit, every call, every time they try to make you feel crazy. I was already doing that. Saving voicemails, screenshotting texts, writing down conversations. Because I wasn't crazy. I wasn't confused. I was being erased. My phone buzzed again. A text from Daniel. Hey Mom, can you swing by the house later? Need you to sign one more thing? Quick and easy? Promise. I stared at the message. One more thing. Not this time. I texted back. Can't today. Have an appointment. 3 dots appeared. Disappeared. Appeared again. What kind of appointment? I didn't answer. Within 5 minutes, Amber called. I let it go to voicemail. Hey, Helen, it's me. Daniel said you have an appointment. Is everything okay? We just want to make sure you're not overdoing it. Call me back, okay? Love ya. They were monitoring me. Every move, every excuse. I grabbed my purse, my keys, and walked out the front door. The SUV was parked at the corner. Amber's white Toyota Highlander. She was sitting in the driver's seat, phone to her ear, watching my house. Our eyes met through the windshield. She smiled, waved. I got in my car, hands trembling, and drove toward Laura Myers' office, because I finally understood what was happening. This wasn't family helping family. This was a hunt. And I was the prey. Laura Myers' office was on the 3rd floor of a building that smelled like lemon polished and old carpet. Professional. Quiet. Safe. She met me at the door, shook my hand firmly. Mid-40s gray suit, kind eyes that had probably seen 1,000 versions of my story. "Helen, come in." Her desk was organized chaos folders, legal pads, a mug that said nevertheless. She persisted. She gestured to a chair across from her. "Tell me everything again, from the beginning." So I did. The coffee at Amber's house, the signature, the declined card, David's discovery, the voicemail, the Ring camera, the SUV outside my house. Laura took notes, her pen moving fast, her expression never changing. When I finished, she leaned back. "Okay. First, I need you to know something. This isn't your fault. I signed the papers under duress, under false pretenses. That's different." She opened a folder, pulled out the power of attorney document David had sent her. This document was designed to look routine, but it's not. It's comprehensive. It gives Daniel and Amber authority over everything: your bank accounts, your investments, your property, even medical decisions. My throat tightened. Medical decisions? If you were hospitalized tomorrow, they could make choices about your care without consulting you. The room tilted. Laura kept going. "And here's the thing, this type of document usually requires a notary and witnesses. Did anyone notarize this?" I thought back. Amber had someone there. A woman. She said she was a notary. "Do you remember her name?" "No." She barely looked at me. Laura made a note. "We'll circle back to that. Now, about the mortgage document. The one signed digitally." She pulled up something on her laptop, turned the screen toward me. "David sent me the timestamp. You supposedly signed this at 2:47 p.m. on October 19th. Okay? Where were you at 2:47 p.m. on October 19th? "I don't know. That was weeks ago." Laura slid a paper across the desk. "This is your Medicare appointment log. On October 19th, at 2:47 p.m., you were at a cardiology follow-up across town. Dr. Patel's office." I stared at the paper. The appointment I'd almost forgotten about. The one where they'd checked my blood pressure and told me I was fine. "I couldn't have signed anything," I whispered. "I was at the doctor." "Exactly. Which means someone else signed it. Using your email, your credentials, and probably a saved version of your signature." She paused. "Helen, this is fraud. Clear, documented fraud." The word hung in the air. Fraud. My son had committed fraud. What do I do? Laura closed the folder. "First, we revoke the power of attorney immediately. I'll draft the paperwork today. Second, we notify the bank and freeze any further transactions. Third, we secure your account's new passwords, new security questions, everything. And fourth, we gather evidence. Every text, every voicemail, every suspicious login. We build a case." "A case? You mean like legal action?" "Possibly. It depends on how Daniel and Amber respond. If they back off, return what they've taken, and leave you alone, we can resolve this quietly. If they don't," she met my eyes, "then we go to court." Court. Against my own son. I thought about Daniel as a little boy, chasing fireflies in the backyard, holding my hand on his first day of school, crying at his father's funeral. "I don't want to destroy him," I said quietly. "You're not destroying him. He made his choices. You're protecting yourself." My phone buzzed on the desk. A text from Daniel. "Mom, where are you? You didn't answer, Amber. We're worried." Laura glanced at the screen. "Do you want to respond? What do I say?" "Nothing yet." Let them worry. It shifts the power dynamic. I put the phone in my purse. Laura stood. "I'm going to file the revocation today. You'll have copies by tomorrow. In the meantime, avoid being alone with either of them. Don't sign anything. Don't discuss this with them. And Helen?" She handed me her card. "If anything escalates, if they show up, if they pressure you, if you feel unsafe, you call me immediately." I took the card, slipped it into my wallet next to the picture of Richard. "One more thing," Laura said. Do you have copies of the original documents? The ones Amber had you sign? No. She took them. Of course she did. Laura made another note. We'll subpoena them from the bank if needed. But if you remember anything else, any detail, no matter how small, write it down? I nodded, stood to leave. Helen, Laura said as I reached the door. You're doing the right thing. I wasn't sure I believed her, but I wanted to. I drove home slowly, checking my rearview mirror every few seconds. No white SUV. No one following. When I pulled into my driveway, my phone buzzed again. A notification from Bank of America. Alert! Access attempt on your savings account from an unrecognized device. Transaction blocked. Please verify. My heart stopped. I clicked the notification. The attempt had been made 17 minutes ago. While I was in Laura's office, someone was trying to access my money right now. I called David immediately. Helen, I saw the alert. I blocked it manually. Who was it? The IP address matches the one from before. Daniel's device. My hands started shaking. He knows I went to see a lawyer. He's trying to get the money before I can stop him. That's exactly what he's doing. And Helen, this changes things. This isn't just fraud anymore. This is active theft. I sat in my car, staring at my house, feeling the clock tick down. Laura had said to document everything, to stay calm, to build a case. But Daniel wasn't waiting. He was moving now, and I had no idea what he'd try next. 3 days passed. 3 days of silence from Daniel and Amber. No calls, no texts, no surprise visits with groceries. It should have felt like relief. Instead, it felt like the quiet before something breaks. I spent those days changing passwords, updating security questions, moving money into an account Daniel didn't know about. Laura had sent the revocation paperwork. I signed it in front of a real notary at the UPS store, a woman who actually checked my ID and asked if I understood what I was signing. Yes, I'd said. I understand perfectly. But the silence from Daniel gnawed at me. He knew something. He had to. On the 4th day, he showed up. I was in the kitchen making lunch when I heard his truck pull up. My stomach dropped. I watched through the window as he got out, walked to my door, and knocked. Not with his key. Knocked. Like he was a guest. I opened the door halfway. Daniel. Hey, Mom. His smile was tight, forced. Can I come in? I'm actually in the middle of something. Dissel, just take a minute. He stepped forward, and I had to move or let him push past me. I moved. Inside, he looked around like he was cataloging everything. The mail on the counter, the coffee mug in the sink, my purse on the chair. You've been hard to reach, he said. I've been busy. Busy with what? I didn't answer. He sat at the kitchen table without being invited. Mom, I'm worried about you. You've been acting strange, not answering calls, canceling plans. Amber tried to check on you, and you hung up on her. I didn't cancel any plans. You said you had an appointment. What kind of appointment? The way he asked, casual, curious, like he had every right to know, made my skin crawl. A personal one. His jaw tightened. Mom, we're family. You can talk to me. Can I? The question hung between us. His eyes narrowed. What's that supposed to mean? I thought about the voicemail, the deleted ring footage, the blocked bank transaction. I thought about Laura's voice. Don't engage. Don't reveal what you know. Nothing, I said. I'm just tired. You've been going to the bank a lot. There it was. The real reason he was here? How do you know that? He shrugged. David mentioned it. David wouldn't tell you that. He's concerned, Mom. We all are. You're acting paranoid. Paranoid. Another word to make me feel crazy. I'm managing my own finances, I said carefully. Like I'm supposed to, right? Except you signed papers giving me access to help you. Remember? I remember signing something I didn't fully understand. His expression changed. Hardened. Are you saying I tricked you? I'm saying I want to handle my own accounts. Why? What's changed? Everything. I wanted to scream. But instead I said, I just do. Daniel stood, walked to the counter, picked up a piece of mail. My bank statement? He studied it like he had permission. You moved money? He said quietly. My heart stopped. That's none of your business. It is if you're being taken advantage of. Mom, if someone's gotten in your head, no one's in my head, then we need to protect you. That's what the power of attorney is for. So you don't make mistakes. I'm not making mistakes. He set the mail down, looked at me with something that might have been pity, or might have been rage. Then why did you go to a lawyer? The air left the room. How do you? I have Google alerts on your name, Mom, for safety, in case something happens. And last week, a law firm sent a notice to the county recorder's office. Laura Myers specializes in elder abuse cases. He said the words slowly, like I was a child. Want to tell me what that's about? I couldn't breathe, couldn't think. You've been spying on me. I've been protecting you. There's a difference. Get out. Mom, get out of my house. He didn't move, just stood there, watching me with eyes I used to trust. You're making a mistake, he said softly. Whatever that lawyer told you, whatever she's convinced you of, it's not real. Amber and I love you. We're trying to help, okay? By stealing from me. The words were out before I could stop them. Daniel's face went blank. Then he smiled. Cold, empty. Stealing? Mom, I think you need to see a doctor. This kind of paranoia, these accusations, it's not normal. It's not healthy. I'm not paranoid. Then prove it. Come home with me right now. Let's call Dr. Patel together. Get you checked out. My phone was in my purse across the room. I couldn't reach it without passing him. I'm fine, I said. Are you? Because from where I'm standing, you're clearly not thinking straight. He pulled out his own phone. I'm calling Amber. We'll take you to urgent care. Make sure you're okay. Daniel, stop. He was already dialing. I grabbed my purse, pulled out my phone, and did the only thing I could think of. I called Laura. She answered on the first ring. Helen, I need you to tell him, I said, my voice shaking. Tell him I'm fine, that I know what I'm doing. Who's there with you? My son. A pause. Then, calm and clear. Put me on speaker. I did. Laura's voice filled the kitchen. This is Laura Myers, Helen's attorney. If you're pressuring her to sign documents, access her accounts, or submit to medical evaluations against her will, you're violating her rights. I've documented everything. If you don't leave immediately, I'm calling the police. Daniel stared at the phone, then at me. This isn't over, he said quietly. He walked out, slammed the door. I sank into a chair, shaking so hard I dropped the phone. Laura's voice came through, distant. Helen, are you okay? He knows, I whispered. He knows everything. That's okay. Let him know. It means he's scared. And scared people make mistakes. I looked at the bank statement on the counter, the one Daniel had been reading, and I realized he hadn't just been checking what I'd moved. He'd been checking what was left. My phone buzzed. An email notification. Bank of America. Access attempt on account ending in 7,392. Transaction pending approval. He'd tried again. Right after leaving my house. He wasn't just scared. He was desperate. And desperate people don't stop. Laura's office, the next morning. She had files spread across her desk like a war map. We have a problem, she said. And an opportunity. I sat down, still shaky from yesterday. What kind of problem? She slid a document toward me. The power of attorney. I compared this to the version the bank has on file. They don't match. What do you mean? Page 3. Look at your signature. I looked. My signature was there, just like I remembered. Messy, rushed. Now look at this. She placed another paper beside it. The quitclaim deed. The one for my house. The signature looked similar, but not the same. See the capital H. Laura pointed with her pen. In the real signature, the one you made at the bank, you loop it twice. It's how you've signed your name for decades. But in this one, from the quitclaim deed, there's only one loop. I stared at both papers, my heart pounding. That's not my signature. It's a copy. A very good copy. But not yours. She pulled out another document. And here's where it gets interesting. I pulled Daniel's signature from the business registration he filed 3 years ago for that landscaping company he tried to start. She laid it next to the fake signature on the deed. The capital letters matched. The slant, the pressure. Daniel signed my name. I whispered, yes, which means this isn't just financial abuse anymore. This is forgery. This is fraud. And depending on the value of what he tried to take, it could be a felony. The room spun. My son, a felon? There's more, Laura said gently. The notary who supposedly witnessed your signature. I looked her up. She exists. But according to the state database, her commission expired 2 years ago. She's not legally authorized to notarize anything. So the whole thing is fake. Completely. Which works in our favor. Any document she notarized is invalid. That includes the power of attorney and the deed transfer. I should have felt relieved. Instead, I felt sick. What happens now? We take this to the police, file a report. They'll investigate, and if they find enough evidence, which they will, Daniel could face charges. I don't want him arrested. Laura's expression softened. Helen, I understand, but this isn't about what you want anymore. It's about what's right. And what's legal. He committed crimes. Multiple crimes. He's my son. I know. But he's also someone who tried to steal your house. The words landed like stones. My house? The one Richard and I bought when Daniel was 2? The one with his height marks still penciled on the kitchen doorframe? I thought about all of it disappearing. Sold. Gone. And me with nowhere to go. Okay, I said quietly. What do we do? Laura pulled out her phone. First, we secure everything. I'm calling David right now. We're freezing all accounts, revoking all access, and flagging any document with your name on it. Nothing moves without your direct, in-person approval. She dialed. Put it on speaker. David answered immediately. Laura, I was about to call you. What happened? Another access attempt. This morning, 6:43 a.m. Someone tried to wire transfer $78,000 from Helen's investment account to an account in Amber's name. My vision blurred. 78,000. Almost everything I had left. Did it go through? Laura asked. No. I blocked it. But Helen, this is the 3rd attempt in 4 days. They're not stopping. Because they know time's running out, Laura said. They know Helen's fighting back, and they're trying to grab whatever they can before the window closes. I felt like I was drowning. There's something else, David said. The account they tried to transfer to. It was opened 3 weeks ago, right after Helen signed the power of attorney. They've been planning this. 3 weeks. While I was grieving Richard. While I was trying to figure out how to be alone. They were setting the trap. I need you to do something, Laura said to David. Pull every transaction from the past 6 months. Every lock-in. Every change. I want a full audit. Already started. I'll have it by end of day. Laura hung up, looked at me. Helen, this is worse than I thought. They didn't just take advantage of an opportunity. They engineered this. Probably from the moment Richard died. Why would they do this? Money? Debt? Desperation? Does Daniel owe anyone? Is he in financial trouble? I thought about the landscaping business that failed. The credit card bills I'd helped with once. The way Amber always wore expensive things, but they never seemed to go on vacation. I don't know, I said. He never told me. Of course he didn't. Because if you knew he was drowning, you'd have helped him. The right way. But that takes time. And apparently, he didn't have time. My phone buzzed. A text from Daniel. Mom, please call me. We need to talk. I'm sorry about yesterday. I was upset. Let me explain. Laura glanced at the screen. Don't respond. He sounds sorry. He's not. He's regrouping. She stood, walked to the window. Here's what's going to happen. He's going to apologize. He's going to cry. He's going to blame Amber. He's going to say it was all a misunderstanding. And then he's going to ask you to drop the lawyer and work this out as a family. How do you know? Because I've seen this 100 times. And it works. Because people like you good people want to believe their children are good too. Daniel is good. Laura turned, met my eyes. Then why did he forge your signature? I didn't have an answer. She sat back down. I'm filing a police report today. You don't have to be there. But I need your permission. I thought about Daniel at 8 years old, crying because he'd accidentally killed a butterfly. The way he'd held my hand at Richard's funeral. The way he'd smiled at me while I signed my life away. Do it, I said. Laura nodded, made a note. One more thing. I pulled the Ring camera footage you mentioned, the backup in the cloud. And she turned her laptop toward me, pressed play. The video showed my front door. Daniel, walking up with a small toolkit. He glanced around, then opened the Ring camera, did something inside, closed it again. The timestamp. 2 days before I signed the papers. He disabled the motion alerts, Laura said. So you wouldn't get notified when people came and went. He wanted to control what you saw. On screen, Daniel looked directly at the camera, smiled, like he knew exactly what he was doing, like he'd done it before. We have him, Laura said quietly. We have everything. But all I could see was that smile. And I realized I didn't know my son at all. I spent the entire day gathering pieces of my life and turning them into evidence. In the attic, I found boxers Richard had labeled in his careful handwriting. Tax returns, bank statements, property deeds, our marriage certificate, Daniel's birth certificate, everything that proved who I was, who we were. I brought it all down to the dining room table and started sorting. Laura had given me a checklist, documents, receipts, anything with signatures or dates that could establish a timeline. I found Richard's will. Simple, clear, everything to me. Nothing about Daniel taking control. Nothing about transferring property. I found our original mortgage papers from 1982. My signature looped H, steady hand. Nothing like the one on the quitclaim deed. I found old birthday cards from Daniel. Love you, Mom, thanks for everything. His handwriting, the same slant I'd seen on the forged signature. Each piece felt like a small betrayal I'd been too trusting to notice. My phone rang. David, Helen, I've got the audit. You're going to want to sit down. I was already sitting. Tell me, 6 months ago, right after Richard passed, someone logged into your online banking from Daniel's IP address. Just browsing at first, checking balances. Then, 3 months ago, the activity increased. Password changes, security question updates, beneficiary modifications on your investment accounts. Beneficiary modifications? Your IRA and your mutual funds. The beneficiary was changed from a state of Helen Morrison to Daniel Morrison. Primary. If something happened to you, everything would go directly to him. No probate, no oversight. My stomach turned. If something happened to me, Helen, I'm not saying they were planning anything, but they were definitely preparing for an outcome. I thought about Daniel suggesting I see a doctor, Amber calling me confused, the way they'd both started treating me like I was already gone. What else? I asked. Small transfers, 500 here, 1,000 there, always under the reporting threshold. They've taken about 18,000 over 3 months. 18,000. Groceries I didn't need. Bills I didn't ask them to pay. Help that was actually theft. Can we get it back? Maybe, if we can prove it was unauthorized. Which, With the forged power of attorney, we can. After David hung up, I kept sorting. I found a voicemail from 2 months ago that I'd saved without knowing why. Daniel's voice, casual. "Hey Mom, just checking the accounts like we discussed. Everything looks good. Talk soon." We never discussed that. I never gave him permission. But there it was. His voice. Casual. Comfortable. Like he'd been doing it for a while. I forwarded it to Laura. Then I went back to the Ring camera app. The cloud backup had more than just the video of Daniel tampering with the device. It had weeks of footage. I scrolled back, found the day I'd signed the papers at Amber's house. The timestamp showed Daniel's truck arriving at my house 30 minutes after I'd left. He'd let himself in, stayed for an hour. What had he been looking for? I kept scrolling, found another clip from 2 weeks before that. Daniel and Amber, both at my house while I was at church. They'd gone through my desk, my filing cabinet. They'd been planning this for months. My doorbell rang. I froze. Checked the Ring app on my phone. Mrs. Thompson stood on my porch, holding a casserole dish. I opened the door. "Helen, honey, I made too much lasagna. Thought you might want some." She stepped closer, lowered her voice. "Also wanted to check on you. Saw some commotion the other day." "I'm okay." "You sure? Because that boy of yours looked angry when he left." I hesitated. "Then, can I ask you something? Have you seen Daniel or Amber here when I'm not home?" Mrs. Thompson's expression changed. "You don't know what?" "They've been coming by for months, honey. Usually during the day. I thought you'd given them a key." "How many times?" "Once a week, maybe more. I figured they were helping you out. After Richard." She trailed off. "Should they not be?" "No," I said quietly. "They shouldn't." She squeezed my hand. "If you need anything, a witness, a statement, whatever you call me." "Okay." After she left, I sat with the lasagna growing cold on the counter. They'd been in my house. Alone? Going through my things? What else had they taken? What else had they copied or changed or moved? I called Laura. "I found more," I said. "Videos, statements." Mrs. Thompson saw them. "Good. Bring everything to my office tomorrow morning. We're meeting with a detective." "A detective? Helen, this is beyond a civil case now. This is criminal. Elder abuse, fraud, forgery, identity theft. The police need to see this." I spent that night organizing everything into folders. Financial documents, video evidence, witness statements, the voicemail. I barely slept. The next morning, I loaded it all into a banker's box, the kind Richard used to bring home from work. Heavy, substantial, proof. Before I left, I checked the Ring app one more time. A new notification. Motion detected. 3A.M. I played the video. Daniel's truck, parked across the street. He'd sat there for 20 minutes, engine running, just watching my house. Then he'd driven away. I saved the video, added it to the box. At Laura's office, she reviewed everything with the kind of focus I'd seen Richard use when he balanced the books. "This is solid," she said. "Really solid. Is it enough for criminal charges?" "Yes." "For conviction?" She paused. "That depends on what Daniel and Amber do next. If they lawyer up, if they claim you gave permission, if they say you were confused." "I wasn't confused." "I know. But they're going to say you were. That's their only defense." She closed the folder. "The detective will be here in an hour. His name is Martinez. He specializes in financial crimes against seniors. He's good. And Helen?" She looked at me. "He's going to ask if you want to press charges. You need to be ready to answer." "What if I say yes?" "Then Daniel could be arrested, prosecuted. He could go to prison." "What if I say no?" "Then this ends here. They might return some of the money. They'll definitely lose access to your accounts, but they won't face consequences. And they'll know they can try again." I thought about the Ring footage. Daniel sitting outside my house at 3 a.m, watching, waiting. I'll press charges, I said. Laura nodded. Okay, then let's finish this. She opened her laptop, pulled up a final document. One more thing. I found the account Amber tried to wire your money into. It's not just in her name, it's joint. With someone named Marcus Webb. Who's Marcus Webb? I don't know yet, but I'm going to find out. My phone buzzed. A text from Amber. Helen, please, let's talk. Families shouldn't fight like this. We love you. I showed Laura. She smiled. Cold, professional. They're scared, she said. Good. They should be. Because for the first time in this entire nightmare, I wasn't the one being hunted anymore. I was the one with the evidence. And the evidence didn't lie. Detective Martinez looked like someone who'd heard every lie there was. Mid-50s gray at the temples. Tired eyes that didn't miss anything. He sat across from me in Laura's conference room, the banker's box between us. Mrs. Morrison, I've reviewed the preliminary evidence your attorney sent over. I need to hear it from you, in your own words. So I told him, all of it. The coffee and the smile, the signature, the blocked card, the forged deed, the cameras, the 3 a.m. surveillance. He took notes, asked clarifying questions, never interrupted. When I finished, he sat back. And you're certain you didn't give verbal permission for any of these transactions? Never. Not even casually. Daniel, you handle this for me? Anything like that? No. I didn't even know he was accessing my accounts until the bank flagged it. Martinez nodded, opened the box, started going through documents. He paused at the forged signature comparison, studied it. This is good work, he said to Laura. Clear discrepancy. The notary's license was expired, Laura added, by 2 years. That voids everything she witnessed. He made a note. I'll need to interview her, get her statement. She might claim she didn't know, Laura said. She knew. Nobody forgets to renew for 2 years. Martinez pulled out another document. What's this account? The one with Marcus Webb? Laura leaned forward. That's the joint account Amber tried to wire Helen's money into. I ran a background check on Webb this morning. He's Amber's ex-husband. They divorced 4 years ago, but apparently never closed their joint accounts. My head spun. She's still connected to her ex. Financially? Yes. Which means Daniel either doesn't know, or he's complicit in something bigger. Martinez's expression darkened. How much is in that account? As of this morning, $143,000. The room went silent. That's not just Helen's money, Martinez said. No, it's not. Laura pulled up bank records on her laptop. I cross-referenced transactions. There are deposits from 3 other names. All women, all over 65. My stomach dropped. They've done this before. It looks that way. Laura turned the screen toward Martinez. This woman, Patricia Caldwell, age 72. Deposit of $58,000, dated 6 months ago. I called her this morning. She said her daughter-in-law helped her consolidate accounts after her husband died. Does her daughter-in-law have a name? Martinez asked. Amber Morrison. The world tilted. How many victims? I asked. Martinez was already on his phone. I'm calling financial crimes. This just became a multi-victim investigation. He stepped out of the room. Laura looked at me. Helen, this is bigger than we thought. If Amber and Daniel are running a coordinated scheme, then I'm not the first. No, you're not. I thought about how smoothly Amber had positioned those papers. How practiced her smile had been. How quickly she'd moved when I hesitated. She'd done it before, multiple times. And Daniel had helped her. Martinez came back in. I've got 2 detectives heading to the addresses of the other women on that account. We're going to interview them, verify the deposits, see if there's a pattern. There is, Laura said. All widows, all over 60, all with adult children who introduced them to Amber. So, she's not working alone, Martinez said. She's recruiting. The word hung in the air. Recruiting. Daniel wasn't just stealing from me. He was helping her steal from others. What happens now? I asked. Now, we move fast. I'm getting a warrant for Daniel and Amber's financial records. Bank accounts, credit cards, property holdings. If they've been funneling money, we'll find it. He looked at me. Mrs. Morrison, I need to ask, are you prepared for what comes next? What comes next? Arrest warrants, court proceedings, your son's name in the news. This won't be quiet. I thought about Daniel as a little boy, running through sprinklers, graduating high school, dancing with me at his wedding to Amber. I thought about that smile at Amber's kitchen counter while she stole my life. I'm prepared, I said. Martinez nodded. Started packing up the evidence. We'll be in touch. Don't engage with them. Don't respond to calls or texts. And Mrs. Morrison? He met my eyes. Change your locks. Today. After he left, Laura walked me to my car. You did the right thing, she said. I wasn't sure I believed her yet. At home, I called a locksmith. He arrived within 2 hours, changed every lock, installed a deadbolt on the back door. I gave him the only key to the old locks, the one I'd given Daniel years ago, and watched him throw it in the trash. My phone buzzed. A call from Daniel. I let it ring. A voicemail appeared. I almost deleted it. Then I remembered Martinez's words. Evidence. Document everything. I played it. Daniel's voice, shaking. Mom, I don't know what you think is happening, but you need to stop. You're making a huge mistake. Amber's upset. I'm upset. We were trying to help you, and now you've got lawyers and police involved. What's wrong with you? A pause. Then, quieter. If you don't drop this, you're going to regret it. I'm trying to protect you, but you're making it impossible. The threat was clear, wrapped in concern, but clear. I saved the voicemail, forwarded it to Laura and Martinez. An hour later, my doorbell rang. I checked the Ring app first. A woman I didn't recognize. Late 60s, kind face, holding an envelope. I opened the door cautiously. Helen Morrison, she asked. Yes. My name is Patricia Caldwell. I think we need to talk. She was one of the names Laura had mentioned, one of the other victims. I let her in. Patricia sat at my kitchen table, the same table where I'd eaten breakfast with Daniel a week ago, back when I still thought he was my son and not a stranger. Amber helped me after my husband died, Patricia said. She was so kind, so understanding, said she knew what I was going through. How did you meet her? Through my daughter-in-law? They were friends. Or so I thought. Patricia opened the envelope, pulled out bank statements. She convinced me to consolidate my accounts, said it would be easier, simpler. I signed papers. Just like you. How much did you lose? $58,000. My husband's life insurance. I didn't realize it was gone until my property taxes came due and the account was empty. Did you report it? I tried. But Amber had paperwork showing I'd given permission. A notary signature. Everything looked legal. She looked at me. Then this morning, a detective called, said my name came up in an investigation. That's when I knew I wasn't crazy, that it wasn't my fault. It's not, I said. It's not your fault. She started crying. I thought I was losing my mind. I reached across the table, held her hand. How many others do you think there are? I asked. I don't know. But if Amber did this to both of us. Patricia wiped her eyes. The detective said there might be more. Women who were too ashamed to report it, who blamed themselves. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. You should have signed when you had the chance. Now it's too late. I showed Patricia. Her face went pale. I got the same message. 3 months ago, right before I gave up trying to fight. But I wasn't giving up. I took a screenshot, sent it to Martinez. His reply came immediately. Got it. We're tracing the number. Stay inside. Lock your doors. I looked at Patricia. You should go home. It's not safe here. It's not safe anywhere, she said. Not until they're stopped. After she left, I sat in the quiet house, listening to every creak, every car that passed. My phone buzzed again. Martinez. Warrant approved. Making arrests tomorrow morning. Stay safe. Tomorrow morning. Daniel would be arrested, handcuffed, put in a police car. I should have felt victorious. Instead, I felt hollow. Because the boy I raised didn't exist anymore, and the man who'd replaced him was a criminal. I didn't sleep that night. Every sound was Daniel's truck. Every shadow was someone at the window. At 6 a.m., my phone rang. Martinez, we executed the warrants an hour ago. Daniel and Amber are in custody. The words should have brought relief. Instead, I felt sick. What happens now? Arraignment this afternoon. They'll likely post bail. But Mrs. Morrison, there's something you need to know. My grip tightened on the phone. When we arrested Amber, she tried to delete files from her laptop. We stopped her, but not before she managed to wipe her phone. Our tech team is working on recovery, but she clearly didn't want us seeing something. What do you think she deleted? Communication? Probably with other victims. Maybe with Marcus Webb? We're subpoenaing phone records, but it'll take time. After he hung up, I sat in the kitchen, watching the sun come up, wondering how the boy who used to make me Mother's Day cards became someone who needed his phone records subpoenaed. At 8? Laura called. I'm outside. We need to go to the bank. I met her in the driveway. Why? David found something. Said it couldn't wait. At the Bank of America, David looked like he hadn't slept either. He led us to a private office, closed the door. I kept digging through the audit. He said, found a wire transfer from 6 months ago. $50,000. Out of your account? $50,000. Where did it go? To a medical billing company. Payment for a procedure. What procedure? I haven't had any procedures. David turned his monitor toward me. The invoice was detailed. Professional. A knee replacement surgery at Mercy General Hospital. Patient name, Helen Morrison. I never had knee replacement surgery, I said. I know. I called the hospital. They have no record of you as a patient. The billing company doesn't exist. The address on the invoice is a UPS store. Laura leaned forward. This is insurance fraud. They billed a fake procedure to get money out of her account. Not just her account, David said. I cross-referenced with the other names Laura gave me. Patricia Caldwell shows a $42,000 payment for hip replacement surgery. Never happened. Another woman, Dorothy Chun, shows $55,000 for cardiac care. Also fabricated. My hands started shaking. How much did they steal total? David's expression was grim. From all the accounts we've identified so far, just over $400,000. The room spun. $400,000. From widows? From women who trusted their families. Where's the money now? Laura asked. That's what I wanted to show you. David pulled up another screen. Most of it went through that joint account with Marcus Webb. But from there, it scattered. Real estate purchases, cryptocurrency, a boat registered in the Cayman Islands. A boat? I whispered. 38-footer. Purchased 4 months ago. Registered to Webb and Amber jointly. They'd bought a boat with stolen money. With my money. With Patricia's money. And they'd been planning to disappear. There's more, David said quietly. This morning, before the arrests, someone tried to access that Cayman account. The attempt came from Daniel's phone. Laura's jaw tightened. He was trying to move the money before police could freeze it. He almost succeeded. Got as far as the transfer confirmation screen before we blocked it. I thought about Daniel's voicemail. You're going to regret it. He'd been planning his escape. And if I hadn't fought back, he would have taken everything and vanished. My phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. You just destroyed your family. Hope you're proud. I showed Laura. That's Amber, she said. They let her make a call from the station. She's using someone else's phone. What do I do? Nothing. Don't respond. Don't engage. Laura stood. We need to get to the courthouse. The arraignment's in 2 hours. If you want to be there, I do. Helen, you don't have to. The prosecutor will handle it. I need to see him. I need to look at Daniel and know that I made the right choice. The courthouse was cold. Institutional. I sat in the gallery with Laura on one side and Patricia Caldwell on the other. She'd insisted on coming. We're in this together now, she'd said. When they brought Daniel in, my heart stopped. He was in an orange jumpsuit, handcuffs. His hair was messy. He looked smaller than I remembered. His eyes scanned the courtroom, found me. For a moment, I saw my son, the real one, the one who'd held my hand at his father's funeral. Then his expression hardened. He looked away. Amber came in next, crying loudly. Her attorney-expensive suit, slicked back. Hair had his hand on her shoulder like she was the victim. The judge entered. Everyone stood. The charges were read. Elder abuse, fraud, forgery, identity theft, conspiracy to commit wire fraud. The prosecutor, sharp woman in her 40s, named Elizabeth, rolled out the case. Multiple victims, forged documents, fabricated medical bills, $400,000 stolen. Daniel's attorney argued for bail. Your Honor, my client is a respected member of the community. He has no prior record. He's not a flight risk. Prosecutor Rowe stood. Your Honor, the defendant attempted to access offshore accounts this morning. He has clear means and motivation to flee. We request remand without bail. The judge looked at Daniel. Mr. Morrison, do you have anything to say? Daniel stood. His voice was steady. Too steady, Your Honor. This is a misunderstanding. My mother is grieving. She's confused. I was trying to help her manage her finances, and she's misinterpreted my actions. I love my mother. I would never hurt her. The judge looked at me. I stood. I didn't plan to, but I did. Your Honor, may I speak? The judge hesitated, then nodded. I stepped forward. My voice didn't shake. My son says I'm confused, that I'm grieving, that I misunderstood. I pulled a folder from my purse, the one with the forged signatures, the fake medical bills, the Ring camera footage. These documents say otherwise. I'm not confused. I'm not misinterpreting. I'm here because my son and his wife stole from me, and from others. Widows. Women they thought were too old and too sad to fight back. I met Daniel's eyes. I raised you to be better than this. The courtroom was silent. The judge looked at the prosecutor. I've heard enough. Bail is set at $500,000 each. Defendants will surrender passports and submit to GPS monitoring if released. Daniel's face went white. Amber started sobbing harder. The judge banged the gavel. Next case. Outside, Patricia hugged me. You were so brave. I didn't feel brave. I felt empty. Laura walked me to my car. Helen, you did it. You stood up. You spoke. You made them hear you. Will it be enough for conviction? Between the forged documents, the fake medical bills, and the multiple victims, yes, the prosecutor thinks they'll plead out. And if they don't, then we go to trial. And we win. I drove home slowly. The house felt different, quieter, safer. My phone buzzed. Martinez's tech team recovered some of Amber's deleted files. You need to see this. He sent a screenshot. A text conversation between Amber and someone named M. M, you sure the old lady won't notice? Amber, she's too out of it. Just signed whatever I put in front of her. M, what about the son? Amber, Daniel thinks we're helping his mom. He has no idea about the others. I stared at the screen. Daniel didn't know. Amber had been using him, manipulating him, making him think he was protecting me while she robbed us both. Another text from Martinez. M is Marcus Webb. We're bringing him in for questioning. I called Laura. Daniel didn't know about the other victims, I said. Amber was running it. He thought he was just helping me. That doesn't excuse the forgery. The fraud. What he did to you. I know. But it means he's not the monster I thought he was. He's just lost. Laura was quiet for a moment. What do you want to do? I don't know yet. But I knew one thing. Justice wasn't just about punishment. It was about truth, and the truth was finally coming out. 3 months later, I stood in Laura's office for the last time. The plea deal was done. Amber had taken it 10 years for conspiracy, fraud, and elder abuse. Marcus Webb got 12. They'd cooperated, given up offshore accounts, helped prosecutors trace every stolen dollar. Daniel's case was different. When he finally understood what Amber had done not just to me, but to Patricia, to Dorothy, to women he'd never met, he'd broken, testified against her, detailed everything. The fake notary, the forged signatures, how Amber had convinced him I was declining, that we were protecting me from myself. He got 5 years, suspended to 18 months, probation, restitution. He'd serve his time at a min security facility 3 hours away. I hadn't visited yet. Wasn't sure I would. The bank finalized the asset recovery, Laura said, sliding papers across her desk. They recovered $280,000 from the Cayman accounts. Patricia and the others will get restitution. You'll get yours too. How much? $63,000. It's not everything, but it's something. I signed the papers. Watched Laura file them away. What about the house? The quitclaim deed was voided. The title's back in your name, fully, completely. No one can touch it. She smiled. You own your home, Helen. Free and clear. For the first time in months, I felt like I could breathe. Outside, the autumn air was crisp. Sharp, real. David was waiting by his car across the street. He'd left Bank of America 2 weeks ago, said he couldn't work somewhere that had missed so many red flags. He'd started consulting, helping other banks identify elder fraud before it happened. All done? He asked. All done. He hugged me. Richard would be proud of you. Would he? You fought back. You stood up. You didn't let them erase you. He stepped back. That takes courage most people don't have. I wasn't sure about courage. I just knew I couldn't let them win. At home, I made coffee, real coffee. Not the kind Amber used to bring in, sat on the back porch. The same porch where Daniel had learned to ride a bike. Where Richard and I used to watch sunsets. It was mine again. My phone rang. A number I didn't recognize. I almost let it go to voicemail. Then I answered. Mom? Daniel's voice, shaking. Small. I'm here, I said. I'm sorry. I know I've said it before, but I need you to hear it. I'm so sorry. I thought I was helping. I thought Amber loved me. I thought his voice broke. I thought I was doing the right thing. You forged my signature, Daniel. I know. You took my money. I know. You made me feel crazy. Confused. Like I was losing my mind. Silence. Then, barely audible. I know. I closed my eyes. Saw him as a little boy again. Saw the man he'd become. Saw the space between the two. I don't know if I can forgive you, I said. I don't expect you to. But I don't hate you either. He started crying. Real tears. Not manipulation. Just grief. Can I write to you? He asked. While I'm away? I thought about it. About the years ahead. About the letters I might read. Or burn. Or keep in a box I never opened. You can write, I said. I can't promise I'll respond. That's fair. We sat in silence, the phone line connecting us across miles and months and mistakes. I have to go, he finally said. Okay, Mom. Yeah. I love you. I know I don't deserve to say that, but I do. The line went dead. I sat there, holding the phone, feeling the weight of everything that had been taken and everything I'd reclaimed. Later that week, Patricia called. Some of us are getting together. The women from the case. We thought maybe we could support each other, share stories, not let this define us. I'd like that, I said. We met at a coffee shop downtown. 6 of us. Different ages, different stories, same betrayal. Dorothy Chun talked about her daughter-in-law, how similar the script had been. Margaret Ellis talked about the shame, the way she'd blamed herself for months. Patricia held my hand across the table. We survived. And we had. Not perfectly, not without scars, but we'd survived. At home that evening, I did something I'd been putting off. I went through Daniel's old room, boxed up his things. Some I'd donate, some I'd store, some I'd keep the good memories, the ones from before. On his desk, I found a photo. The 3 of Usme, Richard, Daniel at the Grand Canyon. Daniela was 12, gap-toothed, squinting in the sun. I set it on my dresser, not forgetting, just remembering when things were different. My doorbell rang. Mrs. Thompson, carrying a plate of cookies. "Thought you might want company," she said. We sat in the kitchen, my kitchen, and talked about nothing important. The weather, her roses, the new family moving in down the street. Normal things, safe things. After she left, I walked through the house, touched the walls, the counters, the door frame where Daniel's height marks still lived in pencil. This was mine, my home, my life, my choice. I changed the beneficiaries on all my accounts, set up a trust, made sure that if something happened to me, everything would go where I wanted to. Charities, 2 friends, 2 people who'd earned my trust, not 2 people who'd stolen it. I updated my will, added a clause that Laura had suggested. Any heir who contests this document or attempts to manipulate its execution forfeits their inheritance entirely. Protection, boundaries, power. That night, I slept through for the first time in months. No nightmares, no sounds at the window, no fear, just peace. The next morning, I drove to the cemetery, stood at Richard's grave. "I did it," I said. "I fought back. I won." The wind rustled through the trees. Somewhere, a bird sang. "I wish you were here, but I'm okay without you. I'm okay alone." And I was. Walking back to my car, I passed another woman at a nearby grave. Older, alone, carrying flowers. Our eyes met. She smiled. "Beautiful day," she said. "It is." And it was. The sky was clear. The air was warm. The world felt possible again. I drove home, turned on the radio, let the music fill the car. Somewhere, Daniel was serving his time, learning, changing, maybe. Somewhere, Amber was locked away, unable to hurt anyone else. And I was here, free, whole, mine. At a red light, I pulled out my phone, opened the notepad, wrote something I wanted to remember. Love doesn't require you to sign away your dignity. Real love protects. Real love respects. Real love doesn't come with fine print. The light turned green. I drove forward, not looking back, just moving ahead, into a life I'd reclaimed, one signature, one boundary, one brave choice at a time. And for the first time since Richard died, I felt like myself again. Not someone's mother. Not someone's victim, just Helen. And that was enough. Tell me in the comments where you're watching from. And if you've ever lived through something like this, you're not alone. And you're stronger than you think.